Hi there, I'm Luke Penella, and this is Jeff Smith, and they've been kind enough to have me come to their facility here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I came in yesterday, and Jeff showed me around this amazing space, 18,000 square foot operation with 20, 30 CNC machines. It's really impressive. But Jeff, has been telling me about this Flute Station, and this is a new iteration of the Flute Station, and I want to know more about it. So that's what we're here for. Is Jeff's gonna teach me about this new product.
Well, Luke, I don't know if you're familiar with the tone hole rod, but the flute tone hole rod is really kind of the heart of the system, if you will, and it's the thing that caused me to build even the first Flute Station, but certainly it's part of this newest iteration. So this is kind of the genesis, if you will, this piece of equipment.
Okay.
And so what the rod does is it's got these holes in it that are designed for putting in these different size ball bearings to do things such as raising dips in tone holes, and so it's essential, that we get tone holes really faced nicely, before they could really properly accept a pad and so forth. So this is for raising the tone holes a bit, and then also there's a hole in the end here that's uses the same size ball, and this one is used for raising posts.
Wow.
Okay, so as example, you could determine that you want to raise, let's say this post right here, and the way I would do it, you see, I just flip the body around, and then I would adjust this rod so that I use the stanchion as a stop, you see,
wow.
and then I move this to where the ball is in the center of where that post lies, right?
Now, would that be for trauma?
Yeah. Or really bad manufacturing.
In the same with the tone hole. If a tone hole got a hit on, like a dent in it or something like that.
Yeah, and it could be for manufacturing processes that just led to a little dip in the hole.
Very cool.
Which is very common, right? So when I insert the body now over, you see the ball is shy of the surface of the rod.
Yeah.
And then I could just put the body over the top of the rod, and I know the ball is under that post.
Yes.
And then I've got a wrench, like so, that gets that goes to the
ball,
the threaded end of that rod, and as I screw it in, it's going to put some pressure on that ball and raise the post.
Wow.
So this is called our post raising wrench.
That's amazing.
So this is a cool little ingredient, and you can see the shape of this on the end is tapered, and it's a plastic handle, but it's a stainless steel end. So it gets under that ball and just raises it ever so gently.
Yeah, sure.
So once you get to a certain point, you start feeling a little bit of pressure, and then oh, now I'm working.
Oh yeah.
The
I would have thought
happening.
we were pulling up kind of thing. That's very cool.
It's kind of driving it up, if you will.
Yeah. I guess you're still going up, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And so we use a little magnet here to pull the balls out.
That's amazing.
And then we could use a smaller size ball in a smaller hole, that hole right there.
Yeah.
And then we could adjust the ball up or down with these little set screws that are in here.
That's amazing.
So depending on the diameter of the bore or whatever,
like a trill tonal.
Yeah,
Can you do a trill tonal? Is that too?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Carefully. Yeah. Right. But that's we have different size holes in here that house different sized balls, and those different sized balls are not really for the different size tone holes, but it's more about the area of the tone hole that needs to be raised.
Okay.
Do you need to raise just a little
yeah,
bit?
yeah.
Well, go to the smaller ball because
Oh,
you
that
could
makes
get
sense.
right
Yeah,
under there.
yeah.
But like these things work, the smaller balls are more powerful
The big
per
ones.
square inch or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You know,
That makes sense.
so you've got to be very cautious
Yeah.
when you do this work.
So is this lend itself to draw tone hole versus solder tone hole more?
It
so?
works on both,
Okay.
but I think you're going to find raising tone holes is more necessary on drawn holes. Yeah, absolutely. And but this is a very efficient way to address work that years ago just took me hours and hours.
I know.
You know, so this is a great ingenious tool.
It really is.
And I didn't design this original tool. This was designed by Jim Thomas,
Oh wow.
who calls himself Sir James, I believe, but
Yeah.
different Sir
Different
James,
Sir James.
than the flute industry knows.
So in the old days, you would take the ball and spin it and pull it out of a drill press. Or?
But that's how tone holes are
made.
raised.
Oh,
That's in the manufacturing process, right?
Okay, not in the repair.
Yeah,
process.
not in the repair process.
How would you do it before this came
Well,
about?
some of it is there. It used to be that you could have a ball on the end of a rod and get under there.
That makes sense. Like a
and
saxophone. or
either
something.
tap it up like
Yeah, yeah.
rebounding
Okay.
or lifting by
Oh yeah. That makes
pressing
sense.
on it and so forth.
It's a pretty
Yeah.
small one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
And again, you could slip off that
Not
easily
accurate.
because you don't have a stop.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
That's
know,
very cool.
So this is a very efficient way to do that. And again, this is not the only thing this device does, of course,
Yeah.
but it's the heart.
Yeah.
It's the heart of it.
And I was noticing yesterday. I'm coming into this not knowing anything about it. In fact, I said to Jeff, "Should I know a little bit about this product?" He said, "No, we'll just learn right now."
Yeah.
But I do know I'm a admirer of well-built machinery, and everything is like so beautiful. Like the tolerances are so beautiful. Everything's so built so well.
Yeah, and
It's all made in house too.
yeah, and we're really proud of this, and it took us about a year in the design process,
Wow.
and then it took us I think 7 or 8 months once it was designed to
To
actually
actually make it.
build
Yeah.
the parts.
And now, when you build this, are you building this all? Are you using all different kinds of machines to build, or are you kind of doing one type of machine to build?
Most of it's done on mills.
Oh, in mills.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
because most of it, as you can see, starts from flat stock,
Oh yeah.
right? So anything that starts from flat stock is
It's gonna be
done,
milled.
done on mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so it's. Let me show you a little more about this rod,
The main
because
rod.
again, it's the heart of things.
Okay.
And one thing to understand is you could really adjust this along.
Yeah.
And this little vice clamp here is the screw is made from brass. We do that very purposely so it doesn't mar the mandrel at all.
And this is
Right.
stainless
This
steel.
is stainless steel.
Yeah.
So if we had stainless steel against stainless steel, it could mar the
Yeah.
rod. But because we don't mar the rod, we're able to use the full length of the rod,
Oh, that's very cool.
including I could use this end over here for maybe
Yeah, dent or something.
doing some body work over
Yeah,
here.
sure.
Maybe I could take a hammer and
Yeah,
tap it
that's
like
very
so,
cool.
right?
Very cool.
And then this swivels,
Oh wow.
right? So we could come out here and I could, do my work here, and I could do some hand burnishing or whatever,
yeah.
or I could use this just as another set of hands to hold the body while I'm maybe replacing a spring
Yeah, sure.
or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
that's so cool.
Or for soldering. If
Yeah.
I want to come up here and solder this rib down or something like that. I've got
Yeah.
this third
So-
hand that's very stable,
Yeah.
and it's
Instead
just
of having all these different manuals.
very versatile, right?
Yeah.
Or the beauty of the Flute Station is that it leads to efficiency, and some of that efficiency is gained by having all your essential tools in one place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's not in a drawer or on a wall, and it's like, oh, I got to take
Yeah.
this out of the vise and then grab that and put it in the vise, and it's like I need to
Yeah.
put a tool under here, and I've got the flute over there, and it's like, oh,
I
you
know. I know it
so-
so well. I see all your expanding mandrels and your head joint mandrels, and I got them in my drawers, and I'm always like, which what drawers it in?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
that's great to have it consolidated.
So
with it.
it's all out and it's always ready to go.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of versatility to this. So, continuing on with the conversation about this tool, I'm going to swivel it back, take that body back off, and I'm going to show you another ingredient to this tool that kind of went beyond the what Jim Thomas put into the tool originally. And that's with this threaded portion, we could thread on a rolling mandrel is what it is. You could see this spins.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Now, why would you want a rolling mandrel?
Ah. Yeah. So you could see it took me a while to thread that in because the thread engagement is pretty deep.
Yeah.
And that gives you a lot of strength,
Yeah.
and it gives you the alignment you really need also. So now let's roll this back just a little bit, and the answer to the question is that I could use this like so, and now I've got a mandrel that rolls with the body as I want to roll the body. Now I will come in here to, this is what's called the burnishing column. Okay, burnishing column has a little pin that holds the various tools. So I can mount a little roller in here.
Oh, that's very cool.
And I could move this over,
And then
or
it's
I could
rolling
move
against-
this out. And now
that's
I'm
beautiful.
rolling against a rolling.
roller. That's
Yeah.
genius right there.
Yeah. And so I can,
You can get that small tenant. Wow.
oh yeah,
Oh, you got a little
I could come up right
good
next to
example
that.
right there too, right?
Yeah, right. This one needs a little help.
Yeah.
So, and that's a perfect situation for this tool.
That's fantastic.
So I could use a very little pressure and re-round the
Yeah.
joint. I could use more pressure and expand it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great. man. That's
so
amazing.
So as with any tool,
Yeah.
the tool doesn't do the work.
Yeah.
We do the tool with the work.
Yeah, exactly,
Right? So we got to be cautious, just as I
Yeah.
warned with the balls and everything.
Yeah. You don't expand your
yeah,
too
right.
much.
Yeah. Not too far, too fast,
Yeah.
right? And so just a little bit of pressure. And I start out with a little bit of pressure. I need a little more pressure. And
That's amazing.
I think I took most of that out.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's magic, man.
It's beautiful.
And it's controllable, right?
Yeah.
Versus a lot of other methods and tools have less control.
Yeah.
You know, years ago when we had rolling type of expanders for head joints and stuff, they were called can openers.
Yeah.
And they were about
Brutal.
as brutal as a
Yeah,
can
yeah.
opener. But this is a pretty
Very
refined
controlled.
tool.
Yeah.
There's like gentle radius on here
Yeah.
and so forth.
It's
and,
great,
and
man.
this is nice and flat and
That's
fits
beautiful.
the bore well.
The way I
but
do-
you could also use this on a head joint.
Yeah, sure.
So
You could make it expand the head joint.
and
with
that's
that.
why you see it's the length of a typical head joint
Oh,
tenon
wow.
with a stop.
So if you were going to use it as an expander, would you go like?
Yeah, in this case you
You'd
have,
have
to
to go.
because yeah, this is designed so it's as wide as
the
the
foot joint.
the foot joint
Yeah.
tenon, right?
That's cool.
So this I would typically, move this out a little bit,
Yeah.
and I might even start at this end because this is typically the end where damage occurs
Yeah,
and so
sure.
forth. So I could do my rounding and so forth,
That's brilliant.
and
man.
then I just overlap a bit at a time.
It's fantastic.
And again, it gives me a lot of control.
Yeah, for the studio audience here, well, there's no studio, I guess. What we do to expand a tenon is you put it on a mandrel and use a burnisher. You burnish it up, so you're pushing the metal, which expands the head joint, but you leave burnishing marks, right? I mean, it's not really
Well,
scientific, I guess.
and we've got some options with fitting joints, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Including still burnishing.
yeah,
And
yeah, of course.
I do a lot of burnishing.
Yeah, sure.
And this is one style of burnishing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rather than a stroke type of burnisher,
Yeah.
it's a rolling type of burnisher. It still has the same effects, but it you might use this in different instances.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
You could. It's really cool. Just sometimes you'll have like, you'll put the head joint into the barrel. Maybe the barrel's not honed correctly, right? And then it goes in and then it plops. You could go in there and just go right to this plop spot, right?
right to the plop spot. Yeah.
The plop spot.
Yeah. Okay, I'm coining that
Yeah,
term.
I
you
think
know.
I like it.
So,
That
but
that would be a beautiful
you know,
application for it.
when we do head joint finishing, I normally use this rod
Okay.
here to size it up.
Okay, yeah.
But if you sometimes when you size it up, you now need to go back and re-round it.
Yeah.
This is your friend
Beautiful.
here.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of versatility just to this bar alone.
yeah.
And this is a first example of, how the burnishing column
Yeah.
interacts with the rod.
Yeah, absolutely. When you
Yeah.
first said that was the main part, I was wondering how it was gonna
Yeah.
turn
yeah.
out.
Yeah. It could go either way.
No,
Yeah.
no, Jeff. Is there different size? Are you guys gonna do like a alto, mandrel, etc., or are we just gonna stay at C for the?
Man, you should be working for me, you know.
Hey,
Because we have made like alto and
Oh, wow.
and bass mandrels for our shop, but
Yeah.
we don't release these
yeah.
yet.
Okay.
But
Will that be a hard to manufacture, or just make it bigger?
Sometimes it's hard to manufacture things of quality in very low volume, and so when it comes to the low flute stuff, there's less demand. Let's say.
Yeah. And there's different. It's not really as standardized. Is that true?
Absolutely so.
Yeah.
So the bore on basses, varies
Yeah.
a bit by maker.
Yeah.
As it should. That's cool.
Alto too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And and also it varies with vintage of the instruments.
Yeah,
the
sure.
older altos were smaller bores and stuff. So
there's a little more.
But we do, maybe these are things we'll bring to the market. But
yeah, absolutely.
once again, you can hold
it's built
hold
to.
this in your vice column.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right, and you could work off either side. Now, we made this mandrel before we had the Flute Station, so we didn't make this all one diameter.
Oh, yeah.
So this was designed to be held in a vice.
Oh, okay.
But we could hold it in here and work off of either side.
That's very
And the beauty with using this style of vice is, once again, we could work off of either side
yeah. You're not
of the tool,
Yeah.
right? And we could leave it more or less stationary. And the intention is that we want to stick out as far as necessary to do the work and a little further.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, ideal mandrel will be able to give you, a little more than halfway up the body,
Yeah.
sticking out of either side.
That's very cool.
Now, you're not always going as deep as like that G sharp area
Sure.
on a body, but
if you have to,
if you have to, you want the mandrel to be long
exactly.
enough to do that.
Yeah, it's funny. In my shop, which is 1/30th the size of this shop, I have 3 vices in my shop, and one of my vices is like in the corner. I can't even get into the vice.
Yeah.
So the idea of having it on both sides is very cool.
Yeah.
To spin around is
Yeah,
very,
and that's another real advantage here is that it's a small footprint.
yeah, exactly.
Most anybody could fit this in their
Yeah, in
shop,
your shop.
versus getting
3
an
vices.
extra vice or whatever, or
There's no reason to have
Yeah.
3 vices
Yeah.
in my shop,
yeah.
other than I need vices.
And so we have both, alto and a bass
Very
flute
cool.
mandrel, and then we've even made some contrabass
Oh my
sizes.
goodness! Wow.
And this helps us with some of the work, but we haven't made. Maybe we have in our repair shop. We have mandrel that will fit some contrabasses
Wow.
in a longer format.
Wow.
But this shorter format really helps with various things.
Absolutely.
Um,
Now, what's this? Is this also part of that main system?
Yeah. So
Is it
you
for-
could hold all sorts of tools in here, right?
Uh huh.
So this is a head joint mandrel.
Oh, it is.
Now, most people look at this and go, how can this be a head joint mandrel?
It's not tapered. Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And so as repairmen, we come up with tapered mandrels for head joints.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's consider this a minute. So you've got a tapered mandrel. Why do we have a tapered mandrel? Oh, because the original mandrels came out of the factories.
Tapered to the right size.
That was tapered to build their head joint.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But what we do in repair work is we're not redrawing that head joint too. I mean, that would be an extreme repair. It could be done, but
of course,
but you got to take the lip blade off, and that's
no, I collect head joint mandrels like it's like baseball cards, because they're never the same, and the taper's never the same.
Yeah.
So I know I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
You just on the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're burnishing,
Yeah.
you're always on
the top.
You're trying to get a flat surface under
Sure.
under that taper.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because the taper is an angle theoretically, or many head joints are parabolic, so there's steps that are blended together.
Sure.
But we've always had more or less tapered mandrels. But this gives you that flat surface, and now you could use a different type of roller.
That's what I was just
in
gonna ask.
here
Yeah.
to roll dents out. So there's a couple different rollers. You could see we've got a narrow one.
Yeah.
And Luke, this is designed to roll right up to a rib.
Oh my goodness.
Right up to a rib, baby.
Wow.
So
see,
you can get
when
right
I get
in there.
when I get into there, I get so nervous. I'll use a wood. I tap it with a wood dowel. And
Yeah.
hope for the best.
Yeah. Have a cup of coffee
Like
before
this.
before you do it.
Yeah.
And really consider deeply.
Yeah, exactly.
say your mantra a few times.
The coffee might give you a little jitters though.
Right. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
But
man. It's beautiful.
wow. That's a real sweetheart for that type
Well, I
of
need
work.
that sooner than later.
And the other thing we do in rollers is have this radius roller.
Those are great. Yeah.
Right. So we could put a radius roller.
Wow. So
in
that
the
just
burnishing column.
So that just removes any issues of a taper, anyways, right there, because it's pushing down flat.
Right.
Yeah.
So you really have one point against another point.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we're doing some head joint work, I could come in here with this mandrel. And the reason we have this at all is because the diameter needs to be smaller than the body mandrel.
Sure.
Otherwise, we would just use body mandrel for head joint work too. But because this end of the tube is smaller, we need to get through here. So I would normally, probably have my head cork assembly out of here to do the work. But if I'm doing head joint work on here, I just roll this down.
So cool. Oh, and you can twist it too.
I'm moving this around.
Oh wow!
Right, so that's going to do my blending.
Yeah. I was thinking
and
just
rounding.
Like this. Yeah.
So I'm just starting with lightest pressure.
Yeah.
Add pressure if I need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I always end up with going back to that lighter pressure because that's going to blend my work.
Yeah, less is more.
I don't want to leave any signals that I was there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Those are head joint expanders. I might come at those so it's the same way. Like
Luke was here.
No, in fact, I don't. We'll edit that part out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the purpose of this
amazing.
mandrel.
Yeah.
And this is something that is really going to add a lot of efficiency and benefit to this system.
Now, is that your brainchild? That piece?
Yeah. It didn't take much.
I don't think me to
let's make a straight mandrel.
Yeah.
Skinny enough to fit a head joint.
It's beautiful.
That's brilliant.
It is brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
So
beautiful, man.
Yeah. So one of the things that so we've kind of talked about the heart here, which is the mandrels that flute tone hole mandrel and for body work and tone hole work and raising posts and fitting your joints. But there's a lot of other ingredients down below. See, one reason we've got everything high up enough is that you can fit various other tools down below.
Wow.
Right. And leave them there. They're always there at your
ready to
call.
go. Yeah.
And there's two different styles of clamping of the tools in place, and one is an actual you know clamp system
Yeah.
that goes down from below, and another is this little system we made so that you could just kind of
Slide it in. Wow, that's brilliant.
snap it in place.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So you don't have to take it apart.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Wow,
So-
that's beautiful.
Why would you have two different systems? Well, consider that most of the work we do on flutes, we're applying pressure downward,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, sure.
Or maybe pulling out
yeah.
or pushing in or whatever. Very little of it would be lifting up,
Yeah.
but we have this in place if
If
you,
you
are
have to
lifting
lift
up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you might have one or two tools on this type of system. It's like I will always want that
Yeah.
on the station. I want it in place.
What
and,
would you be
know,
doing to lift up?
Well, it could be, you know, if you're doing certain type of dent work,
Yeah.
right? I personally don't have tools loaded that I lift up on.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, neither.
everything to me is pressing down.
Yeah, I never
Because
thought,
also-
thought about it.
When you're lifting up,
You don't have as
you're-
much control.
you
right?
don't
Yeah.
right. You don't have control because you don't have the
pressure going down.
shoulders,
Yeah, yeah,
and you know this is keeping it, you know, from going too far too fast.
yeah. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
This is like, oh,
Yeah, just yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, so that's most of the tools are designed to press down on. So, when we're adjusting the distances here, you know, this we could slide this easily and reclamp it in place, and I can move this out of place if I want to.
Yeah, that's great.
I could snap it over here or put it on this side of the tool. And in general, this is about the closest you're going to have these two things together.
Yeah, yeah.
You could always leave them there
Sure.
and then move it later if you need to,
Yeah.
however you want to do it. Sometimes I'll say, well, hey, let me put this in from the back side,
Oh wow.
okay, and then I could come in,
Move it.
swivel this around,
Tighten it up.
and now I tighten it in place, and it's like, okay, now I've got certain functions that I want to come at on this side, and certain functions that I want to come in at this side.
It's great.
Okay,
beautiful.
and you just clamp it in place, and you're ready to go.
And it's so compact. Anybody can have it on their bench. Really, it's not taking up all this room.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a work of art.
It's beautiful. It really is. Jeff.
So
It's
you,
beautiful.
you
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoy having
yeah,
free
absolutely.
tools
I
around.
do too. Yes,
So-
if a client comes in and sees this, they might think you know what you're doing.
Right.
At least they hope. They hope you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
What is this? What is this guy
Oh
doing?
yeah, yeah. This is a friend for sure.
Mhm.
This is another holder that we make that holds a collet closer. So this is a collet closer. These are, you know, we learn about tools like this in our machine shop.
Yeah, yeah.
We use them for fixturing and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And it holds a what's called a 5C collet here, which is this here.
Uh-huh.
This is a 5C collet, and so the tool is designed so that it this little lever
Oh, look at that.
will close it and therefore tighten it.
For
Grip it.
tenants and stuff.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. So
That's amazing.
so you could
So
take
That's I'm sure is very finely.
yeah,
polished.
yeah. It's nicely polished
Yeah, yeah.
inside, and there's a little radius at the edge so you don't.
So you don't
scratch it, right.
Yeah. Wow. Look at
Yeah.
that.
And so we've got them. I think we make 3 different sizes of these.
Uh-huh.
And I say make, we're really buying these and altering the bore size
Oh, okay. Yeah.
for flutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can't order these for flutes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So we modify them essentially. And then
So cool.
it's designed so that you can toggle it like so. And see, it's gripping it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's tightening
Yeah.
around it. And if you notice, gosh, there's like 90% coverage around
Yeah.
the circumference, right?
So you're getting a real true.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's equal pressure
Yeah. Yeah.
on all sides. So it's
You're not
it's-
going to crimp it.
no,
Yeah.
no, you're not going to damage it. And this is a subtle tool. It lets you adjust it so how much pressure you want, how much you
Yeah,
want to
sure.
close it, and so forth.
That's
It's a very subtle tool. You could use that on the head joint or the
Foot joint
the
tenor.
foot joint tenor.
Now, when you buy one of these, you're gonna get the different different size collets, or you get each collet.
Well, good question. We have made a bunch of these holders. We haven't got them on the website yet or
Okay,
anything
yeah,
or
yeah.
for sale.
Yeah.
So I think it's to be determined. We'll
might sell, like-
probably have two sizes as standard.
And then have options.
Yeah, so essentially for a 14 wall and a 16 wall,
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
like there's one here, that's for an 18 wall,
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's
the idea.
that's the
Yeah.
idea. Is
That's very
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So it's again
this.
just
That's
a
amazing.
real friendly tool,
Yeah,
real
I'll say.
friendly tool.
I like this mechanism too. That's very very cool.
And you could feel the pressure. So
Yeah.
so when you're pulling on it, it's not like you push a button on the wall and it's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how much pressure to put on.
Yeah,
You
sure.
feel it in your hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a nice subtle thing.
That's beautiful.
Oh, this tool here is another must-have in my opinion
Yeah.
for flute work. This is what we call our body bar, or flute body bar, and this is designed for that dent lifting, if you will. And it's if I want to use it off to the side for camera purposes, you could see there's two different sides to it. So I could use it off the back side or the front side.
And they're different.
Or maybe that's the front side of this
Yeah,
back. I don't know. Yeah, just a different shape, a little bit different radius
What's
to
the
it.
different shape doing for you?
Yeah, so that side is going to lift a sharper dent, get right in the center of it. Like sometimes when you fit a music stand, you've got that nice sharp line across it. I would go to this side over here and do some lifting.
Just like you said earlier about the ball, the smaller ball and the bigger ball, right?
Yeah, and in this case, once again I get on the outside of the tool. Let's say I've got a little crease or dent right in the middle of the G sharp.
Then you put mark
I
there.
just put my thumb there.
Oh yeah.
My thumbnail there.
Yeah.
Come over here, and it's like, okay, I know I'm right underneath.
Yeah.
That. And
You
now
can
I
always
could-
put a Sharpie on there too.
Yeah.
take it
Or a
off
piece
and
of blue tape.
Yeah.
We do all three of those things.
Yeah.
So
Just hit it with some alcohol.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I know I'm right under there, and I could just start to lift.
Very cool.
And I could rock a little bit
Yeah.
and lift it as I'm lifting around the
Yeah,
radius of the body. This is like when we talked about the smaller balls, more power
Yeah. It's interesting.
in the surface there. So it's going to do a lot of work very quickly.
And that's kind of a similar thing to like, not that I know, but like brass and saxophone stuff. They kind of use this kind of system too, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And this is what's called a barrel shape. So in the brass instrument repair world, there's a barrel balls, and they're not totally round. They have more of a elliptical shape to them across the top.
Why is that?
Because you get more surface area.
Oh yeah.
With a ball,
Than being
consider
just at the
there's
top.
just one point.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and this has a tighter radius, so this is a little closer to a ball shape.
Yeah.
So as I said, it's going to have the power to get into like a sharp crease.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And this, I'm going to come in here. Once again, I'm just going to find my place, come in here, and now I'm going to do blending work.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And I could do that by what I call raking, which is pulling towards me, putting a little downward pressure and pulling.
Yeah.
Or I could just do downward pressure and move it radially.
Wow, that's very
So
cool.
a couple options there.
Yeah.
But this is an essential, and that's why we put a hole in the upright for the V block vise, that it's always permanently there.
Yeah.
And once
Oh, it's
again, you
always
can
there.
use either side of the tool.
It's so cool. Yeah. This it's really a more dialed in system. I for my dent work, I always put a mandrel and a lot. I have a couple, but I love the rollers. But I'm sure you've done it once or twice where you slip on the roller. I won't tell.
Never.
We won't tell him. We won't tell anybody about that. But that's so dialed in. That roller, the double roller, is awesome. Yeah.
Well, and that's what we're trying to do is help the technicians do their work more efficiently, have that control
Yeah.
that we all really desire,
Yeah.
and have the effectiveness.
Absolutely.
And you see it right now.
No, absolutely.
And then also you've got everything there, that needs to be there.
Yeah. I see you even have a bench. You have a bench peg.
Yeah. I've got this is a bench peg we use for head joints.
Oh, cool.
It's longer.
Yeah.
Right? And it has, if you can see, it's got a little O-ring in there.
Oh, yeah. So it
which
clips in.
helps it kind of click in.
Very cool.
And and actually I need a couple more of these because I would mount them on the backside as well.
Yeah. I have them all over my shop too.
Right? Yeah. And that helps you even when you're polishing
Yeah,
a
of
flute.
course.
You could hold the body between here and there and polish it.
I love bench pegs.
Yeah. You could also do that with the mandrel sticking out here.
Yeah,
you can use that as a
I love
as a
that the
peg to hold.
mandrels, you can go both ways.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, Jeff.
Well, thank you.
You're a smart
Thank
cookie.
you. It's a fun tool that I think any serious flute technician should have in their shop. Really believe so.
I second that. Yeah.
Thanks,
great.
Luke. I'm glad you're here, man. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for the hospitality and everything. man.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
It's been a fun time with you.
All right, man.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, everybody.